This is the 11th and final video in a crash course in movable guitar chords. It's completely free, and you can download the free first movable guitar chords booklet from my website. I'll leave a link for that in the description. This is the last lesson in this crash course, so if you just stumbled on this video, you might want to check out videos 1 through 10 first. Right now we're on pages 11 and 12 of the first movable guitar chords booklet. There are no exercises on this page. Instead, I'm going to show you a whole bunch of movable chords we did not cover in the booklet, and these will be handy for learning songs in the future. If you want to get further into movable chords, I've got 3 books for you to check out. One is the first movable guitar chords book, which is an expansion of this free booklet. The next is Rhythm Guitar 3, which takes a very deep dive into movable chord shapes. And then there's 3-note jazz guitar chords, which is pretty much what it sounds like. 3-note chords called shell voicings that work especially well for jazz and blues. I'll leave links for all my books in the description. On page 11, we have all the movable chord shapes you learned in this booklet, plus several more. Notice these are all written as some sort of C chords, but as you know by now, all you have to do is take that shape and move it around to whatever root note you would like. The first 2 shapes are shapes you already learned through the book, so we're not really going to go over those too much. We have our major shape based on the 6th string and our major shape based on the 5th string. Next we have major 7 shapes. This is a pretty chord. This is the 6th string shape. This is fingers 1, 3, 4, and 2, and we're muting strings 1 and 5. Now, to mute those strings, all you have to do for string 5 is take your first finger that's playing the root, flatten it out a little bit so it's touching the 5th string, and then depending on your guitar and your hand size and all that, you'll be using some portion of your hand over here to mute the 1st string. So that's a major 7 shape based on the 6th string. And again, you could move that root around. That's a C major 7, move it down, it's a B major 7, and so forth. And then we have a major 7 chord with the root on the 5th string. This is fingers 1 on the 5th string, and then 3, 2, 4. And we are either muting or just not playing the 6th string. And I like to mute this 1st string as well. If you like, you could bar the 1st string with your 1st finger and make it a bigger chord, but I like to play just the middle 4 strings on this one. Next we have major 6 shapes, which usually just appear as 6s, like C6. This is with the root on the 6th string. This is finger 2, 1, 4, and 3. And just as we did with the major 7 shape on the 6th string, we're muting strings 1 and 5. This is a good chord to play in place of a major chord. Next we have a 5th string major 6 shape or 6th shape. This is fingers 4, 2, 3, and 1. And we are muting or just not playing the 1st string and the 6th string. Next 2 shapes are the minor shapes that you learn in this book, the 6th string minor shape and the 5th string minor shape. So we'll just kind of gloss over those, go right to the minor 7 shapes. Here's a minor 7 shape you can play with the root on the 6th string. This one is not as tricky as you might think at first. This is fingers 2, and then finger 3 is barring strings 2, 3, and 4. And you're muting the 1st string and the 5th string, just as with some of these other shapes. Now at first that might seem like an odd kind of fingering, but it's not too tricky once you get used to it. What you do is the 3rd finger bars, 2nd finger goes slightly over the top of the 3rd finger to play the root, but also it gives the 3rd finger a little bit of support. And then here's a minor 7 shape you can play with the root on the 5th string. Finger 1, 3, 1, and 2. So finger 1 is barring strings 3 through 5. We're not playing the 6th string. I like to mute the 1st string on this one, but if you like, your 1st finger could also bar the 1st string and make it a slightly bigger chord. But again, I like to play just the middle 4 strings on this one. Next we have minor 7 flat 5 shapes. By the way, minor 7 flat 5s are also known as half diminished chords, but whatever you call them, you play them the same. So here's a minor 7 flat 5 or half diminished shape. You can play with the root on the 6th string. I didn't do a very good job right there. There, that's a whole lot better. This is strings 2, 3, 4, and 1. And again, you're muting strings 1 and 5. And then this shape is a little easier to play. This is a minor 7 flat 5 shape with the root on the 5th string. This is fingers 1, 3, 2, and 4. And we're muting strings 1 and 6. Then we have minor 6 shapes. These sound good sometimes in place of just regular minor chords. Here's a minor 6 shape with the root on the 6th string. Finger 2, 1, 3, and 4. And surprise, surprise, we're muting strings 1 and 5. And then another minor 6 shape you can play, this time with the root on the 5th string. Fingers 3, 1, 2, and 1. And finger 1 is borrowing strings 2 through 4, and we're muting strings 1 and 6. Then these dominant 7 shapes, you should be familiar with these by now if you've gone through the booklet. So we're just going to gloss over these. Here's our dominant 7 shape with the root on the 6th string, and our dominant 7 shape with the root on the 5th string. Remember, this one is shaped just like a C7 chord, which you probably already know, but you're muting string 1 and also string 6, so there are no open strings, so it becomes a movable chord. Then we have diminished 7 shapes. Here's a diminished 7 shape with the root on the 6th string. This is finger 2, 1, 3, and 1. So finger 1 is borrowing strings 2 through 4, muting strings 1 and 5. And another diminished 7 shape you can play with the root on the 5th string. Finger 3, 1, 2, and 1. And this is the exact same shape you played for the minor 6 with the root on the 5th string. This particular chord shape leaves out one note, and that one note is what makes a difference between, say, a minor 6 and a diminished 7. So because of that missing note, we can actually use this same shape for either the diminished 7 or the minor 6 shape. So that's kind of handy. And our last 2 shapes are augmented triads or augmented shapes. So we have an augmented shape we can play with the root on the 6th string. Pretty easy fingering. You're just playing a little diagonal, and it's only 3 strings. And then we can use the same shape to play an augmented chord with the root on the 5th string. Matter of fact, those are the same notes. On page 12, there is nothing to play. There's just a whole bunch of empty chord diagrams. When you download the free First Movable Guitar Chords booklet, go ahead and print out page 12 so you have some diagrams for your own use. Don't forget to download your free First Movable Guitar Chords booklet from my website. The link is in the description. When you download it, go ahead and print out page 11 so you have all those new chords for reference, and print out page 12 so you have a bunch of empty chord diagrams for your own use. I've got some videos that'll help you learn the fretboard. I'll leave links for those videos in the description as well. And to explore movable chords even further, don't forget to check out either the First Movable Guitar Chords book, Rhythm Guitar 3, or 3-note jazz guitar chords. Links for all those are in the description. And for more guitar lessons, please subscribe.